All right. Let's see if this works okay. Waiting for the sound check. Ba, 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 ba. I got a Discord message. Ba, 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 ba. Okie dokie. Okay. Hey, we can hear me. What's going on, my dudes? There's a lot on your screen right now. It looks pretty weird. And in the top right, that looks kind of like a YouTube clip. Yup. I'm going to explain that. So what we're hosting is our 4th Faction Face-Off event. It's a lot. It's a lot to look at. I know. So what this was is before the channel was much of anything, we were hosting these, so many of the newcomers might not even know what we're talking about. So I have all 4 of them on your screen here. The first one was in the top left. We got 5 champions of the Empire and dwarves to fight off the Hordes of Chaos. Well, the Hordes of Chaos won. So in the top right was the second one. The High Elves, the Wood Elves, and the Lizard Men stepped up to try to hold back the Tides of Chaos, and they also lost. And in the bottom left, Nagash took his turn, trying to also stop the Tides of Chaos, and they lost. Which brings us to today, the 4th Faction Face-Off. So the world is a desolate, crumbling mess. And only those who can survive on it are those who are raiders or good at living on the fringes of society. So we got some Mad Max art in the background. So we have a combination of Skaven, Greenskins, Norskins, anybody who can really raid. So we have Ick Claw, Grom the Paunch, Throg the Troll King, Flarian, Lord of Cinder, I'll get back to that, and Remy the Rat Rider. The returning champions of Chaos all kept their same heroes as before, except for Deadly Bunnies has opted for Torox the Brass Bull because he was shiny, new, and wonderful. Also at the time, chariots were bugged, and Deadly Bunnies did not want to use bugged chariots at all. Yeah. So there was that. One little piece of note is that BBB Elio de Labla popped in for us as Throg. That was very nice of him. We had Katam set up to be Throg, but unfortunately his living situation changed and his internet was really bad, so he did have to drop out. All the love in the world to Katam, and he was very gracious about stepping down, which was very nice. This event took a while to get together because of a new patch popping up in the middle of it. Then the patch was buggy, and then we got some games on the bug patch and some games on the fixed patch. So, sorry, this took a while to get together. So who the hell is Flarian, Lord of Cinder? Who the hell is Remy the Rat Rider? Well, we asked everybody who they want to play as a Lord beforehand. And some people asked, because we respectfully asked them not to pick boring, stupid Lords, like Sigvald. XMT Way was like, well, what if I just want to take a generic caster Lord? I said, you can, as long as you name him. So he picked a Fire Lord, and he picked Flarian, Lord of Cinder. And for Saltier Than You, he wanted to play a generic Skaven Warlord. And I said that was fine. He said Remy the Rat Rider, which is good, but I did say with Remy the Rat Rider, he has to be riding a rat, so he needs either his Bonebreaker mount or his Brood Horror mount. Praise be, go Chaos. Hey, Zero. What up, dude? So, before I get started, just to let a couple more people trickle in, the last thing I will mention is if you want to be involved in this type of event, there is a section in my Discord. Left screen, Discord. Where is it? Faction Face-Off. In here, we do have a little sign up. Where was it? There it is. It's currently, these 4 individuals are on the docket, but if you want to play now or eventually, just add your name into here. Just type, Human Boy, Dumb, POS, Skaven. And then when I'm looking for a Skaven player, I will scroll through as you see my list, and I will go first on the list, Skaven, you, get in here. Other than that, a quick little how-to of how the thing works. These are some predictions, but this does also show the event. It's a team-based event, so if we go through the first round, it'll be Ilmatar versus Deadly Bunnies. This is not the results, this is someone's prediction, by the way. Swar versus Rocket Row, Katam versus Papa Palpatine, though Katam did have to leave, as mentioned. Way versus Butcherbird, Saltier Than You. Yada, yada, yada. Whoever wins on each side stays, and then we go into round 2. So any of the people who are still alive can challenge each other, and it's just elimination until one team is completely dead. Also for this event, and future events, I will have a prize for anybody who can perfectly guess who is left alive. We see No Pain, No Gain has guessed that Saltier Than You and Swarv will survive, and the Raiders will win. The prize for this one is if anybody gets it perfectly right, they get to change my Discord profile picture. Alright, that's all I got. I think. So, hey, for Poland, what up, dude? There is no prize for this. It is just kind of a for fun tournament. And before we get into it, I will say really quickly that this is a for fun atmosphere. There's no prize on the line. And these are all replays. So if you see any rule breaks or anything, and you're like, wow, he didn't call that, I probably just ignored it because both players thought it was fine. No one raised any issues with me. It seemed fine. All right, we're going to throw it to me from the past. Let me know if you can't hear me from the past because he's kind of quiet. Liked you. Okay, we're going to cast some games on the old patch. Let's do this. Faction Face-Off Game 1. I believe that's Deadly Bunnies. Yeah, it's Deadly Bunnies versus DBD Ilmatar. We have Torx Brass Bull versus Ikit Claw. And what is this? What's going on? This is a surprise. This is a shock to me. I know nothing about this. Yes, No Pain, No Gain, it is a best of one, and also I'm sorry, me from the past was really cringe. I was apparently feeling quite hype. We have 2 Goriches. This is madness. Clan Scryer's gone too far this time. Yeah. I'm really sorry for the cringe. Yada yada. Other bullshit about being surprised about things. Realistically though, I do think this is hype. I like this a lot. We have a Council Guard, Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers, some Skaven Slaves, some Wolfrats running around the back, 3 Rat Ogres, 2 Goriches, Ikit Claw himself with only Flensing Ruin. That's interesting. He's not even taking the Storm Demon cast. Okay. For Deadly Bunnies, we have 2 Giants, a Jabberslythe Torx, the Brass Bull, a Bray Shaman of Shadows with only Occam's Mind Razor, a bunch of Gore Herds, and that's it. No Skirmish Cav, no anything. I feel like there might have been a meme in this. There might be memery at foot. The 2 Goriches are in here. They're actually taking some pretty decent damage from these Giants, but all of these expensive Beastmen units are all clustered up, and they will all get Flensing Ruined together, which is kind of a final trans. It does a little less damage, but it also decreases their armor. Torx is getting ganked down. Ikit Claw's a little trapped up, but that was probably a winning fight for the Skaven. There's also Council Guard in here, which isn't ideal for large targets to be fighting in. And they give Guardian to the Goriches and Ikit Claw, and Goriches and Ikit Claw will dive back in. Jabberslythe on the side is going to rout off some more Wolfrats with poison. They're nefariously very cowardly. And Rat Ogres will be fighting against a whole bunch of Ungors and Gores. Jabberslythe's going to try to come in here, try to get some stuff done. One of the Goriches is almost dead. The other Gorich is doing fine for now. And Ikit Claw is at a little above half health. Ungor Herds are still fighting Rat Ogres, but they get recharged by Wolfrats, so that'll do some good damage to them, and it'll do mental damage, which is the most important kind of damage. That Gorich is pretty fucked. He's going to shatter, I bet, with only 100 health. Oh, looks like he'll hang on, but I still doubt we'll be seeing him again. The other Gorich is getting a little beat up. Looks like Ikit Claw is trying to push his way in here. And is the double giant too OP? Or is the double Gorich too OP? Who knows? 1 Gorich is dead, so we're back to the normal amount of Goriches. Ikit Claw casts another little wee spell that doesn't do very much damage. Rat Ogres pile in. And so far, this is looking pretty bad for the Skaven at this moment. And Occam's Mind Razor comes in as well, and it's going to allow them to start chewing through a lot of this chaff, but still pushing Giants and Jabberslythe into the Council Guard might not be a best long-term strategy here. And another Flensing Ruin comes down, the pseudo-final trans ability, doing a lot of damage over here. Gorich piles back in. He is taking a lot of damage, but he's dealing it as good as he takes it. Ikit Claw is going to get a rear charge on Torx and some of the Giants. And it looks like Torx will even try to flee. And if he dies or succeeds in fleeing, that Giant that's very low is also going to be running for the hills. On the outer sides of the fight, some Wolfrats are tattered, but they can maybe chase off some of these wounded units. This healthier unit is trying to come in for a rear charge. Another health unit's coming in for another rear charge. Beastmen are falling quite far behind on the bounce power at this point. Gorch is still fighting, taking out one of the giants. Another giant runs away. And, ooh, it's the Vorgablond Broodmother Jabberslaith. That's interesting. It's just the ROR Jabberslaith, but Torx Pressbow's getting ridden down by Claw and Gorch. And I think that both these players were being very try-hard and very, very serious about this game. I don't know what I was clicking around and doing, but I was doing something. All right. I think that might be the end of it, as the Beastmen are slowly going to get ground down by the mighty Ikit Claw. But, ooh, Jabberslaith gets actually a nice charge on him. Could this be a crazy turnaround? Probably not. Probably not. Ikit's going to run. But there's still some Skaven slaves. There's still a lot of Rat Ogres. The Council Guard are still here. I'll throw it under a maybe. Where did the other Gorge go? Oh, okay, that Gorge is still very healthy. He's chasing off Taurus. Slowly but surely, the Beastmen will be destroyed. Boop, boop, and army losses will come in for the mighty Ikit Claw in the world's most serious game. That was silly. Goreherd struggled to pay for themselves. The Giants both did very well. Jabberslaith ROR did great. Ikit Claw did well. Considering everything clumped up to get final trans, that's going to get you some value. One of the Gorges maybe paid for itself. The other one definitely didn't. Gorge sucks! Council Guard did well. Wolf Rats did well. Rat Ogres did lovely. Gorge sucks. Alright. So me from the past took us on a wild journey. I think that was the only meme game. But if both players want a meme, I don't really care. That's up to them. So Deadly Bunnies has lost the very first game in most serious fashion. And I forgot to ask YouTube for a color. But we will use red for now. Deadly Bunnies has died, and the first of the Chaos Horde has fallen. I will ask for a color for our third game to cross off between Papa Palpatine and BBB Leo de Labla. But I know Swarv's favorite color is purple, so in honor of him in the first game, we will use purple to cross out whoever is destroyed. I did take you with me, right? Yeah, I did. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Alright, me from the past. Keep on rolling. Game 1. Game 2, let's do it. BBB Rocket Row versus RTK Swarv. Grom the Paunch versus Archaon the Ever-Chosen. Remember, viewers in the future, this is on the Dum Dum patch, but it looks like Swarv's not even going to use the broken Orc Boar Chariots here. What an honorable person. For Rocket, we have Archaon the Ever-Chosen with Burning Head and Cascading Fire Cloak. We have the Soul of Damnation, 1 Manticore in the sky, and it looks like that'll be it for the Sky Forces. Chaos Marauders, the Mirror Guard, more Chaos Marauders. Looks like some basic Skirmish Cav, Horse Masters. Are there 4 Horse Masters? No, okay, there's some Horsemen mixed in there. Chaos Warhounds with Poison, and a Weird Spawn in the center. Very nice army. For the side of Swarv and Grom the Paunch, we have 3 Black Orcs, a couple Savage Orcs on the sides, Night Goblins with Fanatics, some regular Goblins, Orc Armor Boys, Grom the Paunch himself, and some light Skirmish Cav in the Wolf Riders, Morgoth's Mangy Marauders, and Wolf Riders without bows to chase off anything they can. Maybe dogs. Fair enough. Screenskins are going to slowly push up. Hell Cannon is blasting it. Oh, these are the Crimson Killers. I didn't even notice. Alright, it's blasting into the Crimson Killers, and those boys are having a real bad time. They're already down. Once this hits, probably to about half health. Oh, okay, it aimed at the dumb model, so they're doing okay. That thing fires so fast. Holy crap. Okay, it's already firing again, and they're down a quarter of their models and about half their health. That's looking pretty rough for them. Ooh, and a Burning Head comes in, takes out the Fanatics, and they need to fight for 15 seconds in combat before they get their Fanatic charge. And being that wounded, I don't know if they will get it this game. So that is a little tough. River Troll Hag is wandering in from Swarv. She might be overextending a little bit. I wonder what she's trying to Spirit Leash right now. That could be so important. But it looks like Swarv is going to run in with Grom the Paunch. He will get pinned in by Archaon and these Marauder Horse Masters, and this is looking a little dicey for the Greenskins out the bat. But Grom pops his Lucky Banner, he doesn't give too many shits, and the Giant Road Troll High is going to get gooned out. So the Crimson Killers have taken a ton of damage on the advance, So is the River Troll Hag, and Grom might be caught. This could be terrible for the green skins, but there are so many of them. They're pushing through the Chaos front line that got a little spread in the scuffle. And it looks like Archaon will now be surrounded by Savage Orcs and Goblins that can support Grom. A Spirit Leech does come down from the Hag, who somehow hasn't routed while being surrounded by all that stuff. Looks like she was holding on just... How had that Hag not routed? Like, watching this back, how the hell is she still there? Good God. It's long enough to get off her spells. Doom and Darkness and a Spirit Leech will assist Grom the Paunch in fighting Archaon. Who will... Alright. Who will live? Probably Grom. Grom is very good at living. Black Orcs, one unit's still full health. This unit's at half, and the Crimson Killers are almost dead. But, I mean, there's still a full health Black Orc unit in there. That's pretty good. Burning Head comes down, tries to kill off some Goblins and Savage Orcs. That is nice. Clears out a little bit of them, so the Skirmish Cav and maybe the Hell Cannon can start firing again. Maybe. Archaon's down to about half health, but the difference between him and Grom is Grom can heal. So Grom's just going to run away, heal up, chase off some things in the far field. And these Black Orcs are pushing in. Chaos is running a little low on the balance of power. Looks like most of their dogs and Skirmish Cav have been compromised, as they had to be used as blockers to stop the advance. Soul of Damnation did great work on the Crimson Killers, but now it is left largely alone. And Archaon will run maybe to fight some archers, but he won't kill them very quickly. That is to be sure. Grom Punch is fighting a Chaos Romanticore all on his own. Crimson Killers and some Goblins will surround it, break it, and I think army losses might be coming in pretty soon, actually. If everything besides Archaon's running, that's going to be tough. On the balance. On the balance, on the balance. On the balance, on the balance. Nice Burning Head coming in, taking out some Orc Aura Boys, helping Archaon out in his quest to clear all the archers. But I don't think Archaon can even kill all of this stuff. There's a full health unit of Black Orcs, a half health unit as well. Grom the Paunch is going to be healing up this whole time. And I think that might be the death knell for poor Chaos. Archaon and Grom fight one last time, but Grom actually wins that fight against the Bringer of the End Times. And that's a little silly. Grom got great value. Fanatics, one of them got good value. The other one really struggled. Savage Orcs did well. Black Orcs, I mean, these two were still well in the fight. But none of them scored amazing value just yet. One Aura Boy got 900 value. That's really nice. And the Skirmish Cav did Skirmish Cav stuff. Archaon did his best. But when he couldn't win the fight against Grom, that was pretty doomed, unfortunately. Weird Spawn had a tough time. Archers were shooting them the whole time. Some of the Skirmish Cav. Yeah, that just felt like a slow, inexorable tide of greenskin might. It felt like no matter what Rocket killed, there was always 4 more things to replace it. Oh, poor guy. So in honor of Swerve, we will use purple to eliminate Archaon. In a tough go so far for the side of Chaos, it is now at this point a 3v5. Can Chaos turn this around? Well, if they do, it'll start with Papa Palpatine. Where am I going? Oh yes, that. Not that. Had a rough go to. Nice yawn. Oh, why am I yawning? Fuck. That was game 2. Game 3. Papa Palpatine versus BBB Elio de Labla. We originally had, I'm sure Future Me told you, but we had Katam agree to play this with us. The friendly, the lovable Katam, but his internet crapped out on him in the middle of the event. So we had to go abroad. And Elio was very nice to play this for us against Papa Palpatine as Norska and Throg the Troll King. So thank you a ton to him for doing that. And best wishes to Katam and his internet situation. Hopefully it gets better soon. Would love to have him involved. So for Chaos, we have the Weird Spawn, Kolek Suneater, Chaos Sorcerer of Metal with Final Trans and Plague of Rust. We have Chosen and Chaos Warriors and Forsaken across the front line. Good lord. That's a lot of elite infantry. And some basic skirmish cav, some horsemen, some horse masters, more horsemen, and some dogs with poison. Only 3 skirmish cav for chaos will make the skirmish game pretty bad. Skirmish game pretty bad for them. Horsemen, horse masters, and horsemen. Norska can win the skirmish game. I think they should try to make that phase last as long as possible. Backing them up are some Norscan warhounds and skinwolves. On the far side, we have some Marauders, Norscan trolls, a feral mammoth, brutes of the hound, berserkers, a Famir Balefiend of shadows with, it looks like Pendulum and Melkoths, and then Throg the Troll King, and a very inopportunely timed ambulance passing my house. So what's going on in the woods here? It looks like some of Pop Palpatine's dogs are going to get caught, and they'll probably route very quickly off the map, but Kolek Suneater is coming in after them, and he... I can just say that casting shit that happens in the woods is very easy to do, and I love doing it. So please, fight all your battles in the woods. Just do that, and you'll make every caster super happy. Love to fight some Norscan horsemen. And he chases them, clubs one to death. It looks like they'll be running away, not the dogs. It's pretty good damage there. The Norscan forces are getting collapsed upon. Doesn't look like they really had a lot of room to run and extend the skirmish phases we were talking about, because that is where they win. They don't win in the melee. Palpatine brought a ton of really good infantry units, but it looks like they will have to try their best. A pendulum will be coming in. Does some good damage to the Forsaken, but not enough to really save those Marauders. Some horsemen are skirmishing in the trees. Dogs are also trying to get involved, but that's all a bunch of weird hullabaloo. The weird spawner may be hard to take out. Ooh, this final trans could be really nasty if it's overcasted, which it is. That's going to do a lot of damage to Throg, Famir, Brutes of the Hound, Feral Mammoth. That's a lot of value off of that one. Now the Feral Mammoth will run forward and start absolutely goring the Chaos Sorcerer of Metal. You'll love to see that, but Chaos Warriors and Forsaken are fighting very well against Norse Controls and Marauders, and Scoonwolves are trying to find their place on this map that is not fighting Kolek, because Kolek will beat the crap out of them. That being said, he runs in, he lands a nice hit, looks like onto the Famir Balefiend of Shadows, and he does it again, and Papa Palpatine's just using Kolek as this big old sledgehammer. Norska is actually slightly ahead on the balance power at this exact moment, but you can see every swing of that massive hammer is bringing it back into the favor of Chaos. In the woods, it looks like Norska is doing okay. I take that back, as it looks like the Chaos troops have successfully run away. So they didn't lose it, they also didn't win it. While they are, it appears, losing this outer engagement. Though a nice pendulum looks to turn it around for them. These Chaos Warriors are very low. If the Trolls can hang on to their leadership, they can beat down these Chaos Warriors. But we can see with a rear charge from Forsaken, they're going to get cut down. Their leadership will be crumbled away. Throg is going to be fighting in the center along with some Skinwolves. Kolek is still running around, and with Enfeebling Foes, stats are pretty pitiful, so he's going to pull out for a little bit, try to get another charge animation off. Weird Spawn are fighting Unbreakable Berserkers. Both of them are very happy to just be fighting to the death in this little situation. And all these Skirmish Cav on the outside are going to try to poke into things, but they're going to have a hard time against Chaos Warriors. They don't really have a ton of armor-piercing values. And Kolek comes in, just get a rear charge on that Feral Mammoth that's now trying to... Okay, don't know why the sound cut out there, but I guess I'll take over. Throg's trying to fight with the Feral Mammoth alongside him, but that thing's about to break, and I wonder if he has stand or die. Kolek is probably going to beat the crap out of Throg. He is an excellent, excellent combatant, and Throg is moderately okay, but it seems like some of his animations are messed up. I did not know the sound cut out here, so that is going to be weird. Norscan Skirmish Cav is really, really tattered. Chaos Skirmish Cav is also tattered, almost out of ammo, but plenty of health left. They're going to try to chase off the Feral Mammoth. It looks like Norska's going to try to surround them, but it looks like even army losses might be coming in soon. The balance power doesn't show it, but all those leadership bars are blinking away. Throg is fighting his best, but he's down to about a third of his leadership, and he will get charged by Kolek, which will probably seal his fate, and if he breaks, the rest of the Norscan army goes with him, I bet. He's breaking. Some Skirmish Cav will fight, but it looks like the players will concede. Okay, I'm wondering how long the sound on this is going to be out. That's annoying. Chaos got some good values. Their Sorcerer got a ton. Sorcerer got 400 more than Kolek. Chaos Spawn did fine. Chosen did fine. Everybody else struggled a little bit to get their value back. Brutes of the Hound did well. Skirmishers did fine. And Trolls really didn't. Gotta respect the Troll pick when you're playing Throg, though. The Feral Mammoth actually got 1,000. I don't know how much it costs, but some.
At the moment.
Okay. It comes back at some point, I guess.
For Norska, their Brutes of the Hound did well. Skirmish Cav did okay. They were still alive, so they could keep fighting. The Trolls didn't.
Okay, that was weird. Anyway. Cool. Back to Photoshop. We don't have a color picked, so for Elio de la Bla, we will go with yellow. As the first point for Chaos comes in, Pop Palpatine defeats Throg the Troll King and gets Chaos on the board. Next up, we will have XMT Way on Flaring Lord of Cinder versus Butcherbird, Malgor, Adok, Omen. The Omen of Darkness. Go. Have Flareon Lord of Cinder. I just said that, you idiot. Versus Malagor, the Dark Omens. Flareon, Lord of Cinder, and Remy, the Rat Rider, are obviously generic lords that the players wanted to play, and I said you can play them as long as you name them. So now that they have names, we actually care about them, and we want to see Flareon, Lord of Cinder, do well. So for Chaos, we have the Flame Lord himself running around on his steed with his staff and flaming sword with only Flamestorm and Arcane Conduit. Chaos Marauders across the front line, a secondary line of Chaos Warriors with Halberds. It looks like in the back we have a bunch of Skirmish Cav. It looks like Horsemen. Some Chaos Warhounds to support them, Chaos Spawn, and Dragon Ogres. Very diverse force. On the side of the Beastmen, we have Malagor, Dark Omen in the sky with... Oh boy, what do you have? Hold on. I don't want to miss anything, but... That's... Mantle of Gorok. Oh, okay. I was like, what is that? Flock of Doom. How much does that cost? Mantle of Gorok costs 12 Winds of Magic. Holy shit, that is so expensive. Okay. Enfeebling Foe, Pendulum, Flock of Doom. That's pretty standard. I was thinking that could be cool on Chaos Spawn because you lower their armor from 0 to still 0 and then you just get all the bonuses instead of any of the negatives, but for 12 Winds of Magic and single target, no thank you. Ungor Spearman herds, Centaurs, it looks like Bestigor herds, and in the back we have some Centaurs with throwing axes. And we have double Gorbel on the ground, alright. Centaurs will get a side charge on some Chaos Marauders, then pull away. Nice little play there. And no Ungor Raiders. That's a little interesting in this matchup, I would think, because if you have archers, you could try to abuse your ranged advantage over the others. The Gorbels are chilling for now, Centaurs are just enjoying their cycle charging. This is pre any sort of patch that would help cavalry, so Butcherbird is just ramming his head against reality and demanding it change first. Bestigors are moving up. They're very eager to get involved with the Chaos Warriors with Halberds, but maybe the Skirmish Cav will have something to say about that. Maybe some Dragon Ogres will, but it looks like Wei is being very cautious with his high priority assets, just allowing some Chaos Marauders to take the initial fight instead. Butcherbird is going to take that opportunity then to peel off all of the chaff he can, kill as many of them before the real fight begins. And that's a decent play. Gorbels and Bestigors are just trying to avoid some of the Skirmish Cav, trying not to take too much damage on the advance. And Centaurs are running away from Chaos Spawn. It looks like they don't really want to fight them with their armor-piercing throwing axes, don't really want to waste it on some Spawn. But then two Gorbels going in to fight the Spawn is a little interesting. Pendulum comes down. Looks like it hit the Chaos Warriors with Halberds and did good damage to them over there. And now the throwing axes are piling back in. They are going to end up pushing off these Chaos Spawn and helping out the Gorbels, who will in turn help them out with some chaff. The Bestigors in the middle will get the Mantle of Gorok, bringing their melee attack up to a whopping 75, but lowering their armor to 65. And they're trying to fight, but they're taking so much poke in return. It looks like Flareon, Lord of Cinder, Lord of Fire, Keeper of Flames, will get behind them and try to rear charge, but even before he does that, they break anyway. Flamestorm comes down on the far side, roasts off a ton of Ungors, and catches a few Bestigors a little bit. Beastmen are currently in the advantage on the balance of power. I think the game's pretty even in state of the game state. Ball.
Centaurs are about to get on top of some Marauder horsemen, and maybe these Chaos Warriors with Halberds can turn and fight, and it looks like before they do, Butcherbird will pull back, realizing that they are there. So Centaurs will take some poke on their way out. That's a decent trade from Chaos. Double Gorbel still very healthy. The Chaos spawn that were brought are already down to one model. Centaurs are trying to chase down these Warhounds, and if they can get on top of them, will destroy them very quickly. One Bestigor herd is broken and very damaged. The other is at half health. Looks like some Chaos Marauders will get picked off. Malagor has been safe and happy in the sky. It's just been avoiding the only ranged assets that Chaos brought. And the double Gorbel is coming, and they're going to try to beat up Flareon. Flareon, run! Get out of there! You're just a wizard, Harry. You're just a wizard. And Butcherbird, as soon as the Gorbel is where he wants it, he runs in the Centaurs from the back. Doesn't really care too much if they get halberded down. They're mostly just to stop these skirmish cav from peeling off Gorbels and getting some nice kills on them in the trade. That's certainly working out okay. Throwing axes are throwing into these halberds, and Chaos is getting whittled down. Now, one Gorbel is stuck against halberds and dragon ogres. That is terrible for him. He is going to try to leave that situation. And another beautiful pendulum from Malagor comes down, routing off 2 Chaos units. But a halberd largely avoided the strike. These Gorbels are in some trouble now. They are surrounded by skirmish cav, surrounded by halberds, dragon ogres running around in here, and Flareon, Lord of Cinder, is managing to avoid most problems. Beastmen are very far ahead on the balance of power, probably because their 3 skirmish cav are so healthy and have so many axes. They still have Bestigor herds, and Malagor in the sky is very, very healthy and fine. The one Gorbel is going to rout. Dragon ogres are slapping the crap out of him. He might actually just die in there, and I wonder if that brings the balance of power a little closer to even. I think the balance of power is being quite inflated at the moment towards the Beastmen. I think this is even so far. That Gorbel is still getting punched by a bunch of Dragon ogres, and even Flareons coming in to try and lend some aid. Go Flareon. So that boy is in real trouble. Bestigor's coming back a little bit. Centaurs throwing axes. Still chilling. Chilling us to their Bestigor friendies. And Gorbel will get shot in the back a little bit. So the Beastmen are rallying their tattered forces. It's mostly down to Malagor and these throwing axes to kill. What do we have? 3 units of Chaos Warriors with halberds that are still really good health. Flareon, Lord of Cinder is still really good health, and a Gorbel and Dragon Ogres. I mean, not Gorbel. Dragon Ogres with really good health. That's looking a little dicey. Now, the Beastmen have a ton of skirmish advantage. A Flamestorm comes down and breaks off an Ungor or a Spearman Herd, but that's pretty fine. Malagor lands in. That's dangerous. And he's going to immediately run away before the Dragon Ogres and Flareon can turn around and fire. Other than that, the Beastmen are pretty happily kiting. And it looks like maybe that was a lure attempt to get these Dragon Ogres up front, so the throwing axes could have hit them in the face. There are 2 Bestigors in the back, waiting and watching. We have some Centaurs on the far flanks that could be rallied. One of them's too injured to be that much health, but one of them's fine. Those guys have around 3rd health. Half models. I'm going to go on double time through the kiting phase. Oh! Centaurs peel off some Chaos Marauders, but they do also get intercepted by Dragon Ogres. It takes some unwanted damage, but they will back up. And once more, throwing axes resume their throwing axe ways. Chaos Warriors with halberds are getting whittled down. 1 unit in the center is still full health. And the Beastmen, can they fully kite this out? Looks like maybe they can. That halberd unit's going to be useless by the time fighting starts. Bestigors pile in on top of this halberd unit. And it looks like the Beastmen are actually going to commit to a fight here. That is a little ballsy. If that Flamestorm goes the right angle, it looks like Butcherbird will actually dodge it. But if it comes down to these Bestigors, maybe it'll be good. Maybe. For now, throwing axes are just chucking into this Bestigor pile. Gorbel is trying to stay in there and get involved. Dragon Ogres still at half health. Decently scary combatants. And Bestigors are immune to psychology. So at least they won't terror out or anything. Beastmen are running danger low on throwing axes, but the balance of power is quite against Chaos. I still, again, think that is a little optimistic at the moment. Is that a Pendulum coming in? Overcasted Pendulum doing some overcast damage to Malagor, but it does get its shot off. And that is the last Chaos Warrior Halberd unit that was healthy. It is now pretty well crumbed. Flareon, Lord of Cinder, runs in to help the Dragon Ogres. As they're fighting down all these Bestigors. Bestigors are super low. Gorbel's at half health, and Malagor is not much of a melee combatant. But with some throwing axe support coming in, it looks like these Dragon Ogres might just rout. And if they rout, that is the end of Chaos. They went down negative for just a second, but they came back up. Gorbel's trying to do all the fighting by himself, pretty much. And these Halberds are running off to fight Centaurs and help other Halberds out. But there's just too much for Chaos at this point, and they will slowly die.
Damn throwing axes. Alright. Alright. I said that. Fuck you.
Flareon, Lord of Cinder, got 900 value. Decent for being on a horse. I actually don't know how expensive he was. Chaos Warriors with Halberds struggled a bit to catch the Beastmen forces and really hold them down with the fire. Chaos Warhounds did okay. Dragon Ogres did pretty well, honestly. But the Beastmen, they were kiting a lot. Gorbels struggled. Malagor honestly didn't get that much value either, but I'm imagining those throwing axes are going to have a lot of the weight. Yeah, they did pretty good.
Centaurs in general actually do really well. Alright. I don't know why the rest of that video is so long, but I can take you back over to the Photoshop. So Flareon, Lord of Cinder, has fallen. We haven't done green yet, so we'll do green. That brings us to the last match on the previous patch, Saltier Than You and Valkanos. And then we'll cast all the remaining ones live right now on the current patch. But I had to cast these ahead of time so that I didn't have to update in the middle of a stream. That would not be ideal. Not at all.
Also did quite well.
I'm surprised that this is 12 minutes left. That's
Basically,
interesting.
did great.
Okay.
And Chaos comes off with another win. And we're on to the final match before I throw it back to future Human Boy.
I hope he's having a good day.
Ah! So we have Rimy the Rat Rider, a basic Skaven Warlord, versus Wolfrick the Wanderer on Norska, who are still desperately in need of buffs.
Dude, well, Norska needs so many buffs.
Armies are going to advance while I type a message really quick. Fuck you, dude. Don't type a message in the middle of the cast, you idiot. There are people waiting on you. Okay. Nice Skaven box. We have Morskatar's Hellion. We have a Warlord on a Brood Horror, an Assassin, a Plague Priest with Summon and Pestilent Breath. We have triple Poison Wing Globes, Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers, 2 Wolf Rats with Poison, the Council Guard behind Ikith Zap Zap, and Clan Rat and Skaven Slave Spears all around. Decent build, I like it. For Valkanos, we have Armored Skin Wolves that, oh, good God. Okay, they lost like 4 or 5 models from one shot of the Ikith Zap Zap. That's pretty rough for them. Norscan Warhounds, Marauders, Feral Manticores in the sky. It looks like we have some Marauder Berserkers, some Jav Throwers across the front line. Very spread out formation, which is quite good. More Armored Skin Wolves, Beasts of Chashnar, Marauders, Wolfrick the Wanderer, and a Shaman Sorcerer of Death with Spirit Leech, and it looks like Doom and Darkness, and then another one with Fireball and Burning Head. Naked Zap Zap's just constantly switching its targets, so nothing knows what to dodge. And that was a weird little thing, but okay. I'll put on Slight Fast Forward till the front lines collide. But it looks like that Valkanos is just setting up a proper surround before he overcommits on one side and just gets nuked down. So he is waiting a little bit for a proper engagement. Sea Fang does almost take out the Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers altogether, and now the Norskins are coming in, getting Poison Winded on the advance. But Manticores are flying above already, and Ikith Zap Zap does shoot one, causing it to rampage, but it rampages straight into the Poison Wind Globes, so I'm sure that's not terrible. That is kind of the unit you wanted to muck up anyway. Now, it will be tough with the Skaven Warlord and Wolf Rats getting on top of it, that it's going to take a bunch of damage, but it's the life you lead, I guess. The other Manticore diving in is a little interesting. I wonder if it could maybe split off a little earlier. And Poison Wind Globes are coming in, doing some damage to their own units, but mostly helping. Mostly taking out a lot of Norscan units. Burning Head comes in. It looks like it's even going to curve into some Clan Rat Spears a little bit. That was a nice cast. It barely even curved, so it's just mostly a nice cast. But a Summon will immediately replace them, and some Poison Wind Globes will start throwing at the Berserkers. Armored Skinwolves and the Beast of Tashnar are on top of the Council Guard, trying to shut down Ikit Zap Zap. This is good, but the Council Guard will trade back decently effectively. As far as Stormburn with Halberds go, because normally have pretty bad stats. Ikit Zap Zap's still going to be shooting at a Shattered Manticore. I don't think it'll be online for too much longer, so it doesn't really matter what it shoots at. Wolf Rats are bouncing around the back, just trying to take out as many javelins as they can. And it looks like the Assassin is going to get pounded by Wolfrick the Wanderer and then Spirit Leech to make sure he remembers it. The other Manticore is also beaten up by Remy the Rat Rider and Morse Guitar's Hellion. Armored Skinwolves are having a tough time finding real value, though honestly the Council Guard didn't do very much in this back area, which was quite nice for Norska. Now Wolfrick the Wanderer is having a bit of a hard time in here, taking some real damage from the Assassin and now from the Warlord and the Plague Priest. He is having a tough time on his chariot. I wonder if Ikit Zap Zap could turn and shoot at him if he's going to run away. Maybe he could try to get some free damage, but it looks for now it's going to shoot at the Shaman Sorcerer of Fire and try to make sure he is down. Bounce Power is still dead even, but there is a Sea Fang that comes down, does some decent damage to Poison Wind Globes, but they will keep throwing. As long as they're throwing, they're going to chaff. Make sure Remy the Rat Rider can keep running. Just a piece of advice for Norscan players out there. I see that all the time. Like, this isn't some weird Skaven trick. If you want to believe it is, you can just stop listening to me, and that's fine. But don't use Sea Fang on Poison Wind Globes. Like, Valkanos had a perfect cast there, and it didn't do any damage. It's just not... It's not worth your time. They're too resilient to that sort of thing. Burning Heads and Pendulums, too, can also struggle. Spirit Leeching them is very effective, but those big wind spells, don't waste your time on them. It's better to use your wind spells to get through the front line, like just to murder Skaven Slaves and Clan Rats. And while that feels bad, yes, but you can get through the front line quicker and get on top of the Poison Wind Globes and shut them down with melee infantry. Just a little piece of advice there. Maybe he even wants to pursue Wolfrick to the ends of the earth. Maybe Morskard's Hellion is fighting against the Skinwolves and the Beast of Tashnar. He's very good at this. He does magic damage to bypass the physical resist of those Skinwolves, and he has plenty of armor piercing to get past their armor, so he is a good pick into them. Remy is going to try and chase down Wolfrick. If Wolfrick has his buffs up, he can probably just turn around and beat the shit out of him, but without his buffs, or debuffs, whatever you want to call them, he will have some trouble. Norska has fallen behind on the bounce power a little bit, and if Fireball comes in, if that's Overcast, it's going to do a ton of damage, but it looks like it was regular cast and just barely tickles the Warlord a little bit. Poison Wind comes down onto the Chaos Sorcerer of Death and the Plague Priest. That's going to be about a moot trade, and Remy's going to keep chasing down Wolfrick, who has no healing, so all the trades matter onto him, while Remy could possibly run away if he ever gets into trouble. The Assassin does manage to come back and piles in to help against the Armored Skinwolves, and Berserkers, almost full health unit of Berserkers, will get on top of the Warlord once again. Poison Wind Globes are going to keep clearing out any chaff, which is very nice for them. Clan Rats, I believe that's a summon. Yeah, summon's just going to hold up the Shaman Sorcerer of Death, while Poison Wind keeps coming in. Remy is now fighting a 2. You want to see some bullshit? Wolfrick has about 70 plus speed. Remy, when he's running away, has 105. Keep that in mind. 2v1 versus a Shaman Sorcerer of Fire and Wolfrick the Wanderer. He is not enjoying that one bit, and as we mentioned earlier, he can now run away and just start regenning up a storm. All 3 Poison Wind Globes are still online. It looks like they'll be throwing out into any approaching infantry, which is a very good play. Ikit Zap Zap is still online and still firing. Morskard's Hellion is very healthy, and as long as Remy doesn't die, I think the Skaven have this game very well in hand. Now, he does use Rally to make sure he doesn't terror route. Oh, he's on a Brute Horror. He can't terror route. Just make sure he doesn't naturally route, because that could be very bad for him. Other than that, the Norscan infantry are dying, and the Skaven are centralizing their position once again. So Remy's just being a distraction at the moment. Go, Remy, go. He keeps getting caught by Wolfrick, which, like, I've mentioned this before, but shouldn't be possible, because Wolfrick has 78 speed, Remy has 105. I tried to make a video showing it earlier, but I was unsuccessful. So that's pretty big dumb. What does Norska have left? Some Armored Skinwolves, some Berserkers, and Wolfrick. Remy does get caught and pushed off the map. Hit the fast forward button just a little bit. You can see the Skinwolves plow in, but immediately get routed off by Morskard's Hellion. Some other Armored Skinwolves get on top of the Poison Wind Globes, but there's one unit with a lot of ammo left. They're going to maybe shut down this unit without almost any left. Morskard's Hellion is going to bounce over here and do just fine.
And Remy does rally because Wolfrick was stalked in the trees, but as soon as he rallies, he gets killed, so he's probably going to fully die. But I don't think just Wolfrick and a Manticore can carry all of this, as there are 2 units of Poison Globes waiting for these Berserkers to come closer. And Naked Zap Zap still has ammunition somehow after all this time. Interesting. It is trying to shoot that Shaman Sorcerer Fire, make sure he doesn't come back ever. And I think this is GG. We're going to play it on 2 times speed, 3 times speed for a moment. Berserkers are getting globed down. They will then get intercepted by Clanrat Spears. They will nuke the crap out of those Clanrat Spears, but still Poison's coming in, taking that unit from almost full health to dead in short order. Jav is trying to come back. Fireball caster shoots. He gets popped. He's going to run. Wolfrick has rallied some Skin Wolves. Valkanos trying his best to fight to the very end. Ikit Zap Zap is out of ammunition. The only ammunition the Skaven have left is some Poison Wind Globes. But Morskatar's Hellion is so strong, like, when he's given the right opportunity. And this does feel like the right opportunity. This could be a bit of a mistake as the Feral Manticore dives in. The Poison Wind Globes are a little out of sorts. And, ooh, that is a good Sea Fang. Kills some Council Guard, I believe those are. Yeah, Council Guard. 104 Unbreakable Halberds, though, and Morskatar's Hellion, with potentially more summons in the back pocket, might be the end of Norska as we know it. Though this is a better showing than Norska's had in a long time. Wolfrick's trying to fight against Morskatar's Hellion, but everything will break, and that will be the end of it. Bam, bam, boom. Very well played by both players. Honestly, that game was a banger. Morskatars did well. Poison Wind did very well. Council Guard were chilling. Remy did great. Wolfrick did amazing. Casters did well, considering, you know, they're split up. Other than that, Norska struggled. How is there still 3 minutes?
Alright, future me, fast forward. I just want to go see what happened to him.
Oh, okay, yeah. I see.
Okay, still catching him. Okay. Still catching him. Speed's bullshit. I hate it. So now Remy's going to try to run. He gets a speed buff from running as a Skaven. 78 to 105, ladies and gentlemen. 78 to 105. That's, that seems legit. That seems legit, what's happening right now. Yep. Those are speed differences. They're going real different speeds right now. Uh-huh. Yep, for this whole time. Wolfrick's definitely going 78, and Remy is definitely going 105. Yep, that's what's happening. That's what's happening right here. I'm not upset. You're upset. I'm not upset about what the fuck this is. I'm not upset about Wolfrick getting 105 speed across. They were over there when this shit started. This is fine. This is all fine.
I was so mad. Oh, fucking hell. That's so funny. Alright. So that was the last game in the past. Everything else will be cast live. Thanks for bearing with us for that. It's hard to do events over multiple patches and stuff. So Photoshop. Salty has been victorious over Valkados. What color haven't we used yet? We will use Majestic Royal Blue for the Valkanos. So now this is where the event gets a little spicy. We go into round 2, where Ilmatar, Swarv, and Saltier than You can challenge Papa Palpatine and Butcherbird as schedules allowed. This was all over the course of weeks as schedules permitted. It's a very flexible event, meant to be kind of friendly to people with mixed schedules. So it was really just challenge anybody on the other side of the bracket from you until one team is left, and I honestly forgot the order of how this went. So we'll see. Now we can go to the game. Boop, boop. Oh wait, I want the screen blocker up so you don't know the end score. Got it. We got it. So faction face-off game 6. It looks like it is going to be Swarv versus Butcherbird. Grom the Paunch versus Malagoa. Dark Omen. Oh man, brood horrors are super overpowered. I think we should reduce their melee attack a bit. Yeah, Ilmatar, you're right. You're right, dude. Oh god. Okay. So I haven't watched the ones in the past. I was casting them. These I like to cast as I watch them so I can be actually surprised by stuff. So I haven't watched any of these yet. I just know the winners because of how the event ended. For Swarv, it looks like we have Forest Goblin Spider Riders, the Deaf Creepers. I've been seeing a ton of the Deaf Creepers recently. Can anybody in the chat explain to me why they're making a sudden resurgence? I don't know why. It looks like that's the only 2 skirmish cav, though. Interesting, no Wolf Riders. We have the Arachnarok Queen, Grom the Paunch, Savage Orc Biggins, Orc Boys, Goblins, Savage Orc Biggins. We have some Orc Boar Boys on the sides. Interesting. More Goblins, and then an Orc Shaman with Brainburster, and here we go. And we have the 8-peak Loonies, Unbreakable Fanatics. For Butcherbird, we have Ungor Herds, Ungor Spearman Herds across the front line. Hey, Bomar, you are one of our elf players. Centaurs, we have some Chaos Warhounds, 2 Centaurs with throwing axes, Tuskor Chariots, Centaurs, and we have double Manticore in the sky with Marathi. Oh, sorry, not Marathi, Malagor. They're just both so beautiful and seductive. I frequently confuse them. Sorry, what are we talking about? Oh, yeah. Alright, here we are. Let's do this. And hey, before anybody gets mad at Butcherbird for using Tuskor Chariots in a for-fun event, this was after the patch. All 5 of the games you just saw were before the patch. This is after the patch. So now the Tuskors are fine. Now the Tuskors are fine. So this is the current patch. This is live. I think Mage Change is 95 speed. I don't know. So the front lines are going to collide. It looks like some of the Centaurs are trying to get on top of the Skirmish Cav and doing a good job of it. Orc Boar Boys are going to countercharge on the Tuskor Chariots, and I believe will do really good damage to them. Chariots do not like fighting heavy Cav at all. Greenskins are winning the front line across the board, but the flanks do appear to be going to the Beastmen somewhat. We have some dogs here that can run in and help out with chasing anything off. We have Manticores that can come over. And it looks like Butcherbird is going to commit more heavily to the right side where things aren't going entirely in his favor. It looks like he's going to try to turn that around a little bit. The center of the formation has been entirely abandoned. Beastmen don't really care about it. They just have some chaff dying. And it looks like a pendulum is going to come in from Malagor on top of these Orc Boys and do really good damage. And even get some Savage Orc Biggins on the back swing. Manticores have committed in here. It looks like they're trying to get some Orc Boar Boys, but with Grom the Paunch giving everything here ITP, that is going to be really tough for these Manticores. And some 8-peak Loons throwing the ball and chain down the line, gets rid of all their support, and these Manticores are just going to get gooned out. Ooh boy, that is a big loss for the Beastmen. Some Tuskor Chariots are about to get collapsed down by Savage Orc Biggins, and Centaurs with throwing axes do manage to secure their little position. Now the left flank has still gone largely well for the Beastmen. The right flank is contested, but so far a big loss for the Beastmen. One of the Manticores is going to shatter, the other one's going to rout, and maybe pull out, but probably actually shatter or die before it gets out of there. Ooh, nice play. Some Centaurs are going to charge in just to get the foes off him. The Manticore can come back. Big pocket of Beastmen, Greenskin infantry here, clubbing their way through, and it looks pretty bad for the Beastmen. The balance of power is right in the middle, but I would disagree. A lot of the Beastmen units are running, and very beat up. Maybe a Traderkin would have been a good spell to bring in this case, but I don't think Bird likes bringing Traderkin in for fun events. If I remember correctly, it is a little strong at the moment. One Manticore comes back in, tries to fight for a moment. Doom and Darkness upgraded, very nice. Trying to get some terror outs here while Grom the Paunch is not nearby. But otherwise, it's going to be this Greenskin ITP blob just running around and routing off all the Beastmen. And I don't know if the Beastmen have enough single entity killing power left. They do have 2 units with a lot of throwing axes left. But other than that, it's a lot of light melee units that are running out of health. A couple healthy Centaurs will be nice, but they won't be able to take out the Arachnarok Queen or Grom the Paunch on their own. So we will see. In the chat, what's going on? Death Creepers are one of the better upgrades if you still have the money left. They double for normal Spider Riders. Oh, that's cool. Stupid little bit. On a more serious note, please Frenzy nerf, Poison nerf, Speed nerf, Melee defense, and Mass nerfs for all but Throt. Oh, yeah. Brood Horrors got nerfed into the dirt. Your poor chameleons, why did they change their price? Chameleon skinks were so strong. They're so good at melee. Alright, Grom the Punch gets on top of Malagor Dark Omen. And Malagor's trying to get into the sky and take off, but he just gets that weird chariot thing where he gets pushed into infinity and gets clubbed in the back. And he will get back in the sky. There's very little to pressure him up there, so it doesn't matter as much that his health is low as long as he just stays up there and casts spells from now on. But that is still a tragic loss for the Beastmen. Now, the Beastmen are trying to rally forces all around the map, as they do. Throwing axes go burr, it appears. And they do have a skirmish advantage for a bit. Forest Goblin Spider Riders don't have a lot of DPS, and they're also, one of them's running out of ammo. So they can largely ignore them and just use throwing axes to poke down Grom the Paunch and the Ragnarok Queen. But Grom the Paunch is regen, and the Ragnarok Queen is well protected in a bunch of infantry. Malagor does not have Traitor. Oh, that's right. It's not even one of his spells. You're right. I forget he's a mixed caster now. So that's why Bunnies keeps claiming he was nerfed. Also, they didn't change Traitorkin. It's always been AoE bugged. It's fixed. I mean, it's still a strong spell for punishing blobs. I think people should be using it still. I thought Traitorkin was buffed, but maybe it wasn't. It's hard to remember, because a lot of the Laura Wilds got changed in the Beastmen re-release. Goblins are getting messed up a little bit, and we do maybe have some greenskin breaks coming in, but there's more Beastmen breaks, as you can see them just constantly slamming as the tide does against this wall, but the greenskin wall isn't really going anywhere. Grom the Paunch, Ragnarok Queen are all still very, very healthy. It looks like Smanticore is going to get surrounded. Orc boys are hitting it a little bit, the Ragnarok Queen's hitting it, and it is going to shatter. More Beastmen units around the map are just shattering off due to their routing friends. And the balance of power is creeping ever further into the favor of Swarv and the Greenskins. Getting your feathers run over by a chariot would suck. That is true. That is true, Mr. Zero. Glad they didn't change Traitorkin. It's always been... yep, I already read that. My bad. Reading things twice. Brainburster coming in on these Centaurs. And what is this coming down? Doom and Dark is upgraded. Just desperately trying to get rid of some of these units. Goblins might actually break, which is good. Orc boys will probably break. And this is a last attempt from Butcherbird. Can he try to goon out Grom the Paunch with Centaurs? It doesn't look like it, especially with a Spider Hatchling rear charge. That's going to break off even more units. Balance of Power is going to go very firmly against the Beastmen, and we will get army losses. Walls rarely go anywhere. Thanks, Zero. Thanks for that. Oh, he's good to have you on the side. Alright. What do we got? For Swarv, 2,000 value on Grom the Paunch, 500 on his Orc Shaman. One of the Goblins actually paid for itself, the other didn't. Savage Orc Biggins went burr, and one of them did really well. Two of them did okay, struggled. Orc Boar Boys were good against the Chariots. They were needed in the build. And the Ragnarok Queen's Summons did a lot, but you won't see that on her value. Malagor was a supportive caster. Other than that, Tuskor Chariots almost paid for themselves. Centaurs did well enough, as they do. Throwing Axes also did pretty fine. Dogs really struggled to find value, and the Manticores, one paid for itself, one did not. And, well, whoops. Forgot the blocker there, but here we go. Photoshop. So we have Butcherbird knocked out. We will give him orange. I did hit the pause button on the screen. Alright. Bird, you're getting orange. It is down to Papa Palpatine, the last hope of chaos, versus all three of these people. And as scheduling went, again with the second round, I just say, hey, whoever can schedule games, play your games, just for efficiency's sake. So, for Game 7, we will have Swarv immediately fighting Papa Palpatine again, just because he was around and he asked Papa Palpatine to play, and Papa Palpatine said, sure. So we have Grom the Paunch versus Colex Sonita. And they also picked Pillar of Bone as the map. I largely left... Well, I gave him suggestions for the map, but I think these two just decided to play this one again. Okay, for the greenskins we have night goblins, and it is impossible to tell if they have the frickin' fanatics when you're spectating a replay, which is annoying. We have goblin wolf riders, Morgrim's Magi Marauders, along with more wolf rider archers, some savage orcs, black orcs, 3 of them including the crimson killas, more savage orcs, more goblins, orc arboys. Hey, this is the same build he took versus Rocket, I think. Giant river troll hag, ground the punch. Yeah, this is the same build he took versus Rocket Row and Archaon earlier in the stream. Alright, and for the other side, for Pop Palpatine, we have the Demon Spew, Forsaken, Chaos Marauders, Mirror Guard, Chaos Warriors, Chaos Marauders. He just, like, picked one of every infantry, it seems. We have some Chaos Warhounds of Poison in the back. We have Chaos Marauders with great weapons, some Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes to deal with Grom the Paunch, it looks like. Chaos Sorcerer of Fire with Fireball, Burning Head, and Flaming Sword of Varun. Kolek Sun Eater is going after Grom the Paunch. He will get a nice hit on his back as he runs. And Zero in the chat saying, how many can the Sun Eater take out? This was a very similar situation that ODM Anticity had in the Nagash series, where it was down to his Vampire Coast versus the world. And he tried his hardest, but he couldn't stop Chaos. Scrum the Paunch getting destroyed by Kolek. Holy crap. And he is, for some reason, having a hard time getting out of here. Or maybe Swar just doesn't know how much danger he's in, but he does need to leave, like, yesterday. He has to get out of there. If Kolek retargets him, he's going to be in big trouble. Throwing axes are also throwing in. And here Grom does realize what troubles he is in and runs away. Frontline fight seems to be actually going pretty well for Chaos. A lot of the greenskin forces are routing off. The difference between the builds of last time we saw Chaos versus this greenskin build is the Chaos has way more frontline, no Hell Cannon to defend, less skirmish cav, etc., etc. Fireball going onto Grom. Is it overcasted? It is overcasted, and it hits him twice. Very nice stuff there. Papa Palpatine is trying to snipe the unsnipeable Lord. Zero saying Demon Spew are super cool. Well, where are they? Mirror Guard. Demon Spew are over here. Get in there, lads. Gonna start slaughtering some Orc Arboys, though they will get flanked by Night Goblins. Some Chaos troops are rallying in the backfield. Swarv does not have the assets he needs to be able to chase them off, in large part because Chaos has held a pretty good front line. Kolek is down to half health, which could be worrying if Grom is allowed to regen. And what is coming in here? A Burning Head to try and clear out the units fighting the Demon Spew. A great cast. Manages to miss his own units while hitting all of the enemy units. Very, very, very nice. Troll Hag going in on Kolek. I must have missed that, but she seems okay and he doesn't seem okay, so I'm guessing she won that one. Good job, River Troll Hag. You did it. Demon Spew are fighting against all odds. Now surrounded, and they will finally run away. But Chaos... I mean, the Greenskins are currently a little up in the balance of power, but they're so beat up. Look at them all. I guess Chaos is pretty beat up too, though. Spirit Leech is coming in, and Kolek gets a beautiful hit onto Grom the Paunch, who doesn't have the Lucky Banner on. He gets hit yet again. Kolek does not miss, and he goes for a third. 3 out of 3. This man can't miss. And Grom the Paunch goes down, and that might be a very, very dire moment for the Greenskins as the leadership debuff comes in. It looks like the Crimson Killas are going to stand alone after the Black Orcs run away. Kolek's going to run out of here with Foe Seeker on and rear charge some other Black Orcs. That'll probably rout them off. And we might see the beginning of the end here. Now, the River Troll Hag is struggling in leadership a little bit. Kolek's going to go in there and start beating her up, too. He doesn't give a shit. Kolek's going in, and he hits again. This man can't miss. River Troll Hag is running. Is there anything to be able to chase her off? Maybe Kolek himself. He's going in. He's chasing her down. 54 speed versus 78. Oh, he's waddling. He's not even going to do his charge animation. He's just waddling up. He's just like, hey, how you doing? Bam! And he hits her. She falls over. Don't kick her while she's down. Let her stand up. Let her stand up, you bully, you jerk. All around, the Greenskin forces are falling apart now. Chaos has pushed in on all angles. The archers are a little supported. And another hit from Kolek, sending her flying. And some goblins are desperately trying to defend her. And they're like, please leave her alone. She's a nice lady. And Kolek doesn't care. He is going to swing again. I don't know if that was a hit or not. I thought I saw her health shift a little bit. And he will hit some goblins, demanding they get out of his way. Rah, 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 and other cringe things. Alright. Ooh, a fireball coming in. Is it overcasted? We will see. 400 damage? Probably not. I don't think that was overcasted. I think that was just regular. Probably. Alright, goblins with Wa are immune to psychology. They're trying to fight Kolek. Oh, the River Troll shatters. These goblins are fighting for nothing now. They don't know that their fair lady has shattered off. But Kolek carried this game on his back. We have some more skirmish cav around. For Chaos, their infantry is super beat up, but they still have a Kolek, they still have a caster, and they have throwing axes. Other than that, though, actually, the Greenskins cleaned up shop a lot more than I thought they would have. Chaos was all out of infantry. Interesting. But Chaos being out of infantry doesn't matter as much when the Greenskins are out of leadership. Out of leadership and out of assets. There are just 2 goblins here, and once they break off, that'll be it. And Papa Palpatine will take down Swarv, who Swarv had taken out, 2 other combatants before this, so he did need to be stopped. Almost 3,000 value on Kolek. 1,400 on the Firecaster. Chaos Marauders had a bit of a tough time trading back. Oh, that great weapon traded back very well. Chaos Warriors got Shrek'd, probably by spinning loons. The Demon Spew, wow. They only got 500. I felt like they did more than that, but I guess they were killing like chaff and shit. Mirror Guard did okay. Throwing Axes did well. Their values aren't going to reflect it, but they routed off a bunch of stuff. Warhounds with Poison routed off some stuff, but had a hard time paying for themselves, and the Weird Spawn did okay. But man, Kolek going in. Just putting the game on his back. Oh, that was so cool. Alright, Grom got 930. River Trollhide got 700. Goblins did okay. And these were both Fanatics. One of them didn't get their Fanatics off. It looks like the other one did. Savage Orcs actually traded up. Black Orcs traded pretty well. Orc Armor Boys did well. The Goblin Wolf Rider paid for itself exactly. Exactly. Not 1 gold more, not 1 gold left. He was determined to show that Goblin Wolf Riders without arrows can technically do their job. That's so funny. I love that. Alright, in case you're just joining now, this time I'm actually going to get the screen blocker up right so I don't spoil the ending of all this shit. Photoshop, huh? So Grom the Paunch, the man, the myth, the legend, Swarv, has gone down. We need a color we haven't used yet. Let's go with teal. Teal for Swarv. Now it is down to Ick, Claw, or Saltier Than You, the Skaven, to carry this one home. If anyone is going to save the world from chaos, it's got to be the Skaven. And I didn't plan that. It's actually just how it worked out. Let's go, Skaven. Alright, that makes me happy. That makes me happy. So we have Saltier Than You with Remy the Rat Rider versus Papa Palpatine and Kolek Stone Eater. And for those just joining, because we do have more viewers than we have had so far in the stream, I will point out that Remy the Rat Rider is just a Skaven Warlord that has to be riding either a Brood Horror or a Rat Ogre. In this event, this kind of for fun style, players just pick a Lord and stick with it through the event for narrative reasons. And some of the players wanted to play a generic Lord. I said, sure, as long as you name them. So Saltier Than You picked a Skaven Warlord and named it Remy the Rat Rider. For the Skavens, since the armies are very far apart, I will just start the battle while I cast. Skaven Slaves in the front line. Interesting, no spears. Clan Rat Spears is a secondary line. We have Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers and the Council Guard. We have 3 Poison Globes, or 4? 3. Some Wolf Rats with Poison, the Pit Fighters of Helm's Deep. On the other side, more Wolf Rats with Poison, an Assassin, a Hell Pit Abomination, Plague Priest with Pestilent Breath, and Vermintide, and the Warlord. Remy himself. Remy the Mighty. For Papa Palpatine, we have Chaos Warriors with Halberds. Forsaken, yet again, no Demon Spew this time. More Chaos Warriors with Halberds on the other side. The Mirror Guard and Chaos Marauders. A couple, 3 Chaos Chariots. Dogs on the flanks with 2 throwing axes in the back. Kolek Sun Eater, and that will be it. Chaos doing a little bit of a disjointed advance. It looks like Papa Palpatine was content just letting Chaos Marauders eat a ton of Poison Windfire while some single entities got in there. The Mirror Guard are trying to fight against these Skaven Slaves. It looks like a summon is already coming in for the Skaven to give them yet another layer. Now Chaos is getting serious. Sending in the big boys. The Forsaken are going to sprint in on a lot of sides, so are the Chaos Warriors with Halberds, but Poison Wind is shutting them down, and Chaos Warhounds with Poison get killed by Wolf Rats. Over here, the Hell Pit Abomination with some support has killed a lot of these chariots, and they will be running away. Remy is trying to stand in the Forsaken, but getting beaten to death, and will immediately run away from that situation. And I hear Doom and Darkness. Ah, yes, Doom and Darkness coming over here. But unfortunately, for Papa Palpatine, he casts it on a lot of things, but also the Council Guard. So the Council Guard will never break, so you won't be able to fully shatter this position, as the Council Guard will remain, holding your troops back. But he does get rid of some Clan Rats, and it looks like the Pit Fighters of Hell's Deep were even a little affected. Zero, I agree, and I will talk about that after the thing, because there's so much shit going on. Now you can see Papa Palpatine has gotten some chariots all over the Poison Wind globes, and it looks like the Warlord Remy will have to come back and try to bail them out, along with some Rat Ogres. And Kolek Suneater's been having a bit of a hard time. In the last game, we saw him get on top of Grom the Paunch, follow him around, and beat him to death. In this one, he's having a really hard time sticking with anything he wants to fight. He wants to fight Remy, he wants to fight the Hell Pit Abomination, maybe some Rat Ogres, but he's been stuck fighting Council Guard, he's been stuck fighting Poison Wind globes, and now, as I'm saying it, again, this is a replay, but he does immediately turn his attention to things he actually will do well against. He will run and rear charge the Skaven Warlord, and the Skaven Warlord is not Grom the Paunch, and he is suffering the same fate as Grom the Paunch with a lot less stats to protect him. 3 more hits in the back. This man does not miss. Now, with an Assassin's Trophy hitting him up, he might actually start to miss a little bit, and the Hell Pit Abomination trading well into him, he will start to run away. Council Guard will also flanking him, so that is a good choice. Skaven losing their weapons teams kind of across the board. That one's running, that one's facing the wrong way and currently a little mucked up, and that one is currently bailed out, so maybe they will get one back. But the Skaven are in a good position. You can see the Chaos health bars are all very low, except for these throwing axes who are trying to hit the Hell Pit Abomination. But Chaos is running out of juice, running out of steam. Poison Wind Globe's going to throw in from 2 angles on top of these Marauder Horsemen throwing axes, though they will get charged and broken off quickly. That is some decent damage before they die. Kolek's trying to help out in the backfield a little bit, just mostly avoid these Council Guard, and trying to swing around and get back onto the Hell Pit Abomination. Chaos Chariot's coming back in, and Chaos is going for one last resurgence. Can they break off enough Skaven? Because currently they're behind in the balance of power, but that can change quickly with the cowardice of the Skaven forces. There is a very nice Skaven blob over here that has rallied. They have some Poison Wind globes. They have their caster. That is very precious. But Remy's low, and the Hell Pit Abomination is also quite low, getting shot by throwing axes and now being a frontal attacked by Kolek. Now Kolek hits him right away, and he hits him again in a beautiful Doom and Darkness, lowering its leadership with a rear charge. Papa Palpatine playing so well, honestly. These are some really, really nice plays. Now next to him, his cowardly support units do terror out off, and Remy gets a rear charge, and that Hell Pit Abomination is pretty dead. It might be smart just to route it off the map and stop shooting it so it doesn't potentially get its too horrible to die proc. But Chaos doesn't really have the units to be able to, just walk with it. They need all their firepower elsewhere. They have other shit to do today. Papa Palpatine running with Kolek, just trying to get some last hits on Remy the Rat Rider. And this man does not miss! He is going down swinging, carrying the Chaos roster with him in multiple games. The Hell Pit does rally in the distance. It looks like these throwing axes got a little distracted or terror routed. And Kolek, I feel so bad for him. Like, him specifically, not like Papa Palpatine or anything like that, but like, Kolek specifically has been dragging this roster. And he's like, everybody's talking about Archaon, everybody's talking about Sigvald, nobody's talking about me. Well, here we fucking go. Remember me! As he sprints in, routes off more units, terror routes off more units. He will not lose this game. Good God, Kolek, stop it. The rest of Chaos is so messed up, just tattered and shattered, and army losses will come in as Kolek's iron will can only be destroyed by the game itself. Holy shit! I had not seen that replay. I think the Rim Rider brought items, Mad Lad. Halberds versus Skaven is an odd choice. Zero, I saw that and I was immediately like, huh, but the game was going. I don't know what they were for, per se. Skaven do have some large units, but none of them are armored enough to warrant Chaos Warriors with Halberds. I think just more Chaff and Forsaken would have been a slightly better choice. The throwing axes were also a bit of a overcommitment, in my opinion. Oh, actually, never mind. I take that one back. These are for if the Plaguecaster was on a furnace. Okay, that's a good choice. I back off on that one. I still think the Halberds were a bit of an overextension into slightly too elite infantry. So Remy got 814 value. Assassins and the Heroes didn't really get much value either. The Poison Wind are going to have a ton. Council Guard got 1382. Very nice for them. 600, 400, 1300. There it is. Wolfrat's one did great, one did pretty poorly, and the Hell Pit did fine. For Papa Palpatine, 1800 value on Kolek, but he did so many routing things, and Remy the Rat Rider is actually relatively cheap. So all that damage didn't really matter too much. Forsaken, their values are always going to be low against Skaven, but they are needed to cut through all the Skaven slaves and clan rats super quickly. Mirror Guard struggled a bit. Chariots did well for shutting down Poison Wind Globes. And Throwing Axes did fine. That will be it. So I'll take you back over to the Photoshop for the last thing, and then I'll do a little goodbye ditty, and we'll be on with this. For Papa Palpatine, we will give him, what do we have? We have orange, red already. We have teal. We have dark blue. We don't have pink. Papa Palpatine, you're getting pink. And Chaos has finally been defeated after 4 of these events. They took out 3 other champions. These 5 players took out 3 and 15. So these 5 took out 18 players, but they are finally defeated and destroyed. And what does that mean? What does that mean for the Chad lads? Well, for anybody watching, otherwise I'll just tell them in Discord, these 5 will be invited back. They will stay on their factions. They can switch what lord they want if they want to. But it's they can if they want to. I'll ask them politely to stay on the lords they were, but they can switch if they want to. And I will assemble another team of 5 thematic opponents to fight them. Now, where do I assemble that? Where is this coming in? Left screen. Faction Faceoff. If you sign up in here, again, I made an example at the start of the stream, but I have a current little list going. All you do to sign up and say you want to play is just type your name. Human Boy. Skaven. Oops, not Skaven. And then I'll go by first come, first serve. It's not really about player skill at all. This is a for fun event. Just having some fun with some friends, and if you want to get on stream, sign up. Good for you. You just put your mains, and when I pick, I will pick a thematic thing like I did this Raiders thing. I'll pick a thematic thing. I haven't had Dark Elves on yet, so it's definitely... The thematics is going to have Dark Elves, 100%. I'll assemble a team. I'll give them a cool background, and then I will invite you to this secret chat. You can see the Faction Face-Off chat. The only people here are people I give the faction rep role, so we can discuss the event, and we can discuss the results, we can discuss the rules and stuff in private, so we're not spoiling the event. And then when all the replays are gathered, I cast them. It's a really chill event. You can see Deadly Bunnies and Ilmatar had a ton of fun with their game. Everybody else seemed to take it pretty seriously. That's fine. Both are fine. As long as you and your opponent are on the same wavelength. Like, if you're fucking around and your opponent's playing serious, that's probably not the best. But yeah. Schedule is flexible. You and your opponent just set up a time. This took like 4 weeks to set up because of the patches. I would like this to be more of every 2 weeks we set up an event, but it's like, man, you have 2 weeks to play a best of one, and then maybe another best of one. It's very low stress. Anyway, that'll be it for me today, my dudes. I hope to see you all around quite soon. That's what I got. Pew pew Pikachu.